They came in search of a new life, but they left only with their hopes and dreams. In 1587, over 100 English settlers arrived on the shores of Roanoke Island, just off the coast of present-day North Carolina. They dreamed of a new life, far from England, in a colony that would be their home in the New World. But when English supply ships returned just 3 years later, the colony was gone. Not a single settler remained. No bodies. No signs of battle. Only one chilling clue: the word Croatoan carved into a wooden post. Historians have puzzled over this mystery for centuries. What happened to the lost colony of Roanoke? This is the first in a series on mysterious lost civilizations. Stay tuned for more. The settlers of Roanoke were ordinary families men, women and children led by Governor John White. They built homes, planted crops, and hoped for peace. But food was scarce, and relations with local native tribes were fragile. Within weeks, Governor White sailed back to England to gather supplies, leaving behind his own daughter, Eleanor, and his newborn granddaughter, Virginia Dare, the first English child born in America. When John White finally returned in 1590, the colony was deserted. The homes were dismantled, overgrown with weeds. There were no graves, no evidence of violence, just silence. And that single word, Croatoan. It was the name of a nearby island, home to the Croatoan people. Did the settlers join them? Were they attacked? Or did they flee in desperation? Some historians believe the settlers integrated with local tribes, blending into Native American communities. Others suspect starvation forced them to abandon the colony. More chilling theories suggest they were wiped out by hostile tribes or lost at sea while attempting to sail back to England. Archaeologists have found fragments, broken pottery, European tools, but never proof. The fate of the lost colony remains one of America's greatest mysteries. More than 400 years after the settlement was abandoned, all that remains of the lost colony of Roanoke are a few scraps of information and a smattering of artifacts. The story begins in the mid-1500s, when England began exploring the New World. At the time, European powers were establishing colonies across the globe and competing for land and resources. England, Spain, and France were no exception. Each sent explorers and settlers to establish settlements and claim land for their respective monarchs. One such explorer was Sir Walter Raleigh, who received a charter from Queen Elizabeth, the first to establish a colony in North America. He named the region Virginia in honor of the Virgin Queen. The first attempt at a settlement in 1585 was not successful, but Raleigh persisted. A second group of settlers arrived in 1587 under the leadership of John White, who would become the first governor of the colony. But almost immediately, problems arose. Food was scarce, and the settlers struggled to build suitable shelter. Within weeks, White sailed back to England to gather supplies, leaving the colony's leadership in the hands of his deputy. While he was gone, relations with the local Native Americans deteriorated, and the settlers lived in fear of attack. When White returned to the colony 3 years later, he found it deserted. The houses were abandoned, the crops were rotting in the fields, and the settlers were nowhere to be found. All that remained was a single clue: the word Croatoan carved into a post. The most popular theory is that the settlers, including White's daughter and granddaughter, joined a friendly Native American tribe on an island 30 miles away. The theory is supported by the fact that the settlers would have had knowledge of the island, as it was used as a supply and refueling stop during earlier voyages. However, there is no written record of the settlers' fate, and no archaeological evidence has been found to support this theory. Another theory is that the settlers were attacked and killed by a rival tribe, but there is no evidence of a massacre. Still, some believe the settlers may have been lost at sea while trying to return to England. As for Virginia Dare, the first child of English descent born in North America, she may have met a grim fate. Historian David Eltis suggests that she and other settlers or likely enslaved by the time they reached the mainland. Other historians, though, speculate that she may have died young, perhaps from disease or exposure. Regardless of what happened to her, the mystery of the lost colony of Roanoke continues to fascinate people today. The story of Roanoke haunts American history. Virginia Dare became a symbol of innocence lost, her name whispered in folklore. And the word Croatoan, it echoes through centuries of ghost stories and legends. To this day, the colony's disappearance is unsolved, a riddle written into the very soil of America. So what do you think happened to the lost colony of Roanoke? Was it survival, tragedy, or something darker? The truth vanished more than 400 years ago and may never be found. Thanks for watching. When you subscribe, you'll get access to our full video series. That's one mystery solved. See you next time.